With the passing of this being, there is a vacuum that has been created on your planet Earth. This vacuum can now be filled with love and light energies. And yes, while there are still connections of people that have been left behind that had been working with him, it is significant that the soul has passed at this time. Remembering the conversation we had about the alignments outside of your galaxy that would be at its peak today, working with this alignment of your equinox. The passing of this soul is a tangible sign for you on this planet who are desiring something of tangibility, something to see, something to know, to boost your faith or trust perhaps. That indeed the energies on your planet are shifting. And so the passing of this soul gives you a tangible knowing, a reminder that indeed things are changing and shifting. The old paradigm is falling apart, is dying. And the new paradigm is coming to life. And while you will continue to see those that have been working with him, you will continue to see their efforts at world domination, at a forming of a global elite. The passing of this being is auspicious for those working for the light. There are certain patterns, certain matrices that are dissolved with his passing. As he was anchoring in an energy on your planet, and without this anchor, the other anchors with whom he was working are a bit weaker. This is good news for the light realm, and as always, dear ones, all is in divine order. What I invite you to do at this time, dear ones, is to flood this vacuum with your love and light. For the more of you that direct your love energy in this direction, this love and light will then become an anchor, and it will emanate to those with whom he was working. We are, in a way, infiltrating the matrix with love and light by engaging in this meditative action. I thank you, dear ones, those of you who wish to participate in this.
Where is David Rockefeller, the soul that just passed? Is he going to a third density planet? Is he being retrained or given light to change?
He has served his time in the third dimension while on this planet. While it may be difficult to understand from a human perspective, his soul is pure. This was the role that he chose to play. And so at a soul level, there is no rehabilitation that is needed. What is required, as this channel explained the alignments and cleaning up the karmic dust, he will now go through a process of working with his karma. He is able to do this to some degree at a non-human level. And there will be incarnations into some density where he will be further working with the karma that was set forth in this incarnation from which he has just passed. Understanding, dear ones, there is no judgment. It is not a punishment for him to work through his karma, for each soul goes through this journey and this process. I thank you, dear ones, for suspending your judgment, for expanding into deeper and a more open understanding about how this works. This being brought much light to the darkness, and the role that he played to show some of what he said and the horrific expressions that he brought into this incarnation. It was in service to the light, to demonstrate polarity, to show contrast, to awaken, so that beings who saw what they did not like could choose something of a higher vibration. And so we thank this soul and this being for how it has served. And again, I do invite you to flood love and light into this vacuum. The sooner that this can be done, the better, as there is ripe opportunity for this vacuum to be filled with love before it becomes tainted with shadow once again. I thank you, dear ones.
Is there still, or has there been, an energy grid around this planet or the solar system which entraps our souls and forces us to reincarnate on this planet?
There is no being that can force at the soul level. For the soul is whole, the soul is knowing, the soul is free, the soul is complete. There is some truth to what some have seen in this regard. This system that has been spoken of, there are beings that do wish to trap souls. They have set up a mirror system so that there is convolution of reflection of the light. So that beings that are embodied, souls that are embodied, will get caught in this reflection, this system of mirroring reflection. And before they pass, before the souls exit the form of the being, there is an attempt at convincing the soul to stay within this matrix of convolution, this mirroring reflection system. However, once the soul passes from the being and exits the form of the being, it can then see beyond the convolution and reflection. And it does have choice. So what has occurred in some situations is that the soul gets trapped before it leaves the form. And there are incarnations, not just on planet Earth, where the being remains in convolution, trapped in this reflection of mirrors and bent light. And it is difficult for the soul to make progress on its soul journey. This has not happened with all beings. However, it has occurred with some. But once the soul leaves the form of the being, it can see all, and it learns how to defend against this, so to speak, in future incarnations. I thank you for your interest, dear ones. Ooh, okay. Look, this is Susie. I'm gonna try to explain what I saw. It's really hard to find words. So I think I did pretty well at explaining what Prime Creator was conveying. But it's like this. There's like all these mirrors set up to deflect the light so that it becomes really bent and convoluted. And the soul, while it's in the form of a being, can get trapped in that. And I think that's what happens actually a lot with some beings on planet Earth. Like souls who feel lost or something like that. But once again, as soon as the soul, what we would call death, as soon as the soul leaves the form, it can see what has happened and it can't be trapped. So I don't know if that helps to clarify anything, but it's a very interesting question. I had heard of that before. And then the other thing at the very beginning with Rockefeller, his passing, it was like this. I don't know how to explain the visual. Oh man, will help please. It was like this tremendous bubble or something going through the veil, like, his soul, I guess, leaving this planet's energies, going through the veil, and this huge like ripple that happened as that bubble transferred through the veil. And then this big space, this empty space where he had occupied in physical form for 100 more years. That's a pretty long time on this planet. So what we get to do is we get to fill up that space with our love and light. And then it's connected to all these other Cabal beings that he worked with. And so as we fill it with love and light, it's just going to filter out to them. So that's pretty cool.